All right, so today we are doing Unit 4.3, and we are graphing a quadratic function in standard form. If you look through your notes in a couple days here, or on Friday, actually tomorrow, we're going to be graphing in vertex form. So there's two forms when you're graphing parabolas. One is standard form, one is vertex form. Today we are talking about standard form. In a previous lesson, we talked about what this graph looks like. Who remembers what that graph looks like? What kind of shape it makes? A U, which is called a parabola. Okay, so if I'm just going to kind of draw one over here, a U-shaped graph, okay. Does anybody know what this point right here is called? A vertex. Very good. That is a vertex. Every vertex is an ordered pair where it has your x and then your y value. Okay? Through the middle of the vertex, parabolas are symmetrical. Who remembers what symmetrical means? Same on both sides. What are some things in real life that are symmetrical? Okay, squares, butterflies, hearts, circles, stars. Very good. Okay. Parabolas are also symmetrical. Okay? And through the vertex, this is called the line of symmetry. We will often abbreviate that as LOS, line of symmetry. Okay. Now, in order to find your vertex, we need to have an ordered pair, an x and a y value. We have this formula, and you're going to end up having this memorized probably by the end of notes today. But whenever you are finding the x value of the vertex, it is negative b over 2a is your equation. Where do you get the b value and the a value? Well, from your equation. Your a is the one number in front, b is your number with just the plain x, and c is your number without an x. Okay? Once you find the value for x, you can get your y value by plugging the x value back into this equation and then solving for y. Okay? Now, your line of symmetry will always be the x value of the vertex, and it will be an equation. So it'll always say like x equals, and whatever number your x is in your vertex, that is the x value in your line of symmetry. Okay, your graph. Okay, see how this graph that I drew is going down. If your a value is less than 0, what numbers are less than 0? Negative. So if your a value is negative, your graph is going down. If your a value is positive, your graph is going up. Okay, if your graph is going down like this, there is a maximum value because everything else is smaller. Right? So this vertex is the maximum point, everything else is less. If your graph was going up, you would have a minimum value because everything else would be greater. Okay? Yes. All right. Also, your max and minimum value are always the y value of the vertex, because this point right here on your y-axis, that is telling you your max or your min value. Okay? And this will all make more sense as we go through the problem. So we have steps, okay, for graphing. They're all kind of labeled out here, and we're just going to go through each step and do our graph over here. So the first thing, sorry, I'm going to make that a little bigger. The first thing is label your a, b, and c value. Make sure everything's in descending order, okay, and your a is always with your x squared. So what is my a value? 3. My b value is negative 6, and my c value is 4. Okay, so over here it says to state whether your graph is going to go up or down. So which way is my graph going to go? Up. And how did you know the graph is going up? Because your a value is positive, okay? Therefore the graph is going to curve up, which means, does it have a max or a min value? Min. Very good. So it has a minimum value because everything else is greater. Okay, and at some point we'll write what our minimum value is. Okay, step 2 is to find the x value of the vertex. The equation for finding the x value of the vertex is negative b over 2a. Okay, when you have negative b, what that is saying is the opposite of what b is. So what's it going to be? 6. Since b is negative 6, negative b would be positive 6 over 2 times, and a is 3. So we simplify that and we get 6 over 6, which reduces to what? 1. Okay, so the x value of my vertex, and I'm just going to go over here and write v for vertex. We know that's going to be an ordered pair, and the x value of my vertex is what? 1. Okay, now I need to find the y value. How will I find the y value of my vertex? Good. We're plugging the x value of 1 into this equation and solving for y. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have y equals, and if we're going through this right here, it is 3 times 1 squared minus 6 times 1 plus 4. When we go through that, 1 squared is what? 1. So I still have 3 times 1. And then minus 6 times 1 is? Plus 4. And then 3 times 1 is? 3. So I have 3 minus 6 plus 4. So we'd first go 3 minus 6, which is? And negative 3 plus 4 is? Positive 1. So the y value of my vertex is 1. Okay? Next, I want us to state the line of symmetry. Yes?
Do you ever have like a fraction for one of the answers?
Yes. And we're going to actually do a problem that has a fraction. So my line of symmetry is always the x value of the vertex, and you have to write it as an equation. So it's going to be x equals, and the x value of my vertex is 1. Okay? If you forget x equals when you're writing your answer, it will be incorrect. How come it's 1?
Yeah.
Because it's the x value of the vertex. So if we go to graph this, let's go graph for a second. The vertex is at 1, 1. So we're going to go right 1, up 1, and make our point. That is my vertex. Which, did you guys say my graph was going up or down? Up, so it's curving up like this. And we said our line of symmetry goes through our vertex, cutting our parabola in half. So do you see how this is a line right here? Yes? Lines have equal signs, okay? You know, y equals mx plus b and so on. This line is at x equals 1. Okay? What is my minimum value? 1. And that 1, and notice how I wrote both of these in red, that 1 came from the y value of my vertex. This 1 came from the x value of my vertex. Okay? And that's it. You're done. Your answer is your graph as well as this information right there. Do we have questions? Okay, now we're going to do one with fractions. Okay, we're not going to do on your homework. In fact, I don't think any of the problems have fractions, but I want you to know how to deal with fractions. So, here we go. The first thing we want to do is state what? A, B, and C. So A equals what? Negative 3/4. B equals negative 4, and C equals negative 1. Okay, so my graph on this one, which way is my graph going? How do you know it's going down? Good, your A value is negative. Is this going to be a max or a min value? Very good. A maximum value, and we're not sure what it is yet, but we can write that later. We also are going to find our vertex and our line of symmetry. Okay, so how do I find the x value of the vertex?
Your formula.
Which is, anybody remember it? Good job. Negative b over 2a is correct. So what is my negative b value? It's not negative 4. It's going to end up being positive 4 over 2 times negative 3/4. Okay, so simplify the bottom here. Remember that 2, you can change that to a fraction by putting over 1. Can anything there cancel or reduce? Very good. 2 cancels and 4 becomes 2. So right now I have 4 over, and then it's negative 3 over 2. Who remembers how to get rid of this fraction on the bottom? Well, right now it's dividing. You multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm multiplying by negative 2/3 to both the top and the bottom. When I multiply by a negative, that gets rid of the negative, and it also gets rid of the 3's and the 2's. So that all cancels out, and now I just have to simplify the top. And I can write 4 as a fraction by putting it over 1. So can anything cross-reduce here? No. So we just multiply straight across. So 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and 1 times 3 is 3. Yes?
Just do 2 over 1 and then like the negative 3 over 4 and just cross multiply from there and then reduce everything?
Did you get the same answer?
No, I'm asking you if I can do it. Because this seems like so hard. I know.
Okay.
I don't even know what.
Okay. 4 over 2 times negative 3/4. Shh. 4 over 2 times negative 3/4. Are we all okay with this canceling and getting 2?
Where did you get like why is it in a fraction form and the other like one wasn't?
Because negative 3/4 is a fraction.
And the 4 they got it from that.
Let's go backwards.
Like the 4x.
Okay. On this one, negative b over 2a, we had 6 over 2 times a, which is 3, right? And that reduced to 1. We're all okay there? Okay. So on this problem, we have x equals negative b over 2a. So when I'm plugging in these numbers, my negative b value will end up being what? Positive 4 over 2 times, and my a value is a fraction, right? Which is negative 3/4. Are we okay with what I've written there? Yes, it's always going to be the opposite. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you wanted, what she was saying right here is that if it's negative b, you have a negative 4, which ends up making a positive 4. So if you want to think about it that way, you can also write it that way. Is this where we're confused by the 4, or are we confused at the bottom? Okay, so are we all okay right now with the 4 on top?
Yeah.
What were you saying? Tell me again.
I was saying, like, wait, instead of, like, wait, what did you do? Like, you flipped it, and then you, like, canceled the 2 and 4 out? What I was saying was, like, put 2 over 1, and then, you know how you have to flip the reciprocal? Flip the second one?
Mm-hmm.
So just flip the 4 over negative 3 and then multiply across. You get the same answer.
Okay, then yes, you can do it that way.
Do it that way?
Yes.
Is it didn't just come out like that this time. It's going to always come out like that? Like the right answer?
It should, yes.
That's what I was asking.
Okay. This is how, okay, are we all okay with this positive 4 on top, and then we have 2 and negative 3/4 on the bottom? Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and we're going to start our second video.